girl when I was here and spoke. Tanya, I can't remember her last Wilson. I questioned about records. And she said emphatically, you've got to, I'll quote this gentleman's in the newspaper, the entire file was available for inspection at the city clerk's office. That's not what happened. 2-inch deep file. I go in here the next day. She yanks out 1 3/4 worth of paperwork saying it's confidential and gives me 1/4 inch worth of material to look at. I have nothing that I saw that shows anything that happened in the last 18 months in that file. Not looking at that file, maybe to review it, that's a violation of the Open Records Act, right there. I'm trying to find a resolution to help her to preserve this town's history, this architecture, like the fine ladies from the sorority are talking about. But from what I've seen the last 30 days digging into this thing, pardon the old-fashioned pun in this, but it's like two old cur dogs fighting. It's all they know how to relate to one another. Everybody needs to step back from that. And not let your own history be distorted because of personalities and arguments. You've got some outstanding buildings here that are deteriorating. When they're gone, that's your history. It's gone. You can't get it back once it's gone. Now, when we get into the demolition contract itself, over the last couple of weeks, you guys have been busily involved with the asbestos abatement issues and other things with the KDHE and whatnot. But if you look at the contract itself, these items were supposed to be done before the contract was ever written, before the gentleman was ever told to start demolishing the building. And the fact that you're doing it now shows that it wasn't done before. I mean, it's just a simple timeline issue. And in that respect, if it was to be stretched, that could be considered criminal fraud. And I know that's not you guys' intent. But just looking at a timeline issue and what's been going on along that timeline, it's nefarious. It's just, pardon my French, it doesn't pass a smell test, okay? There's federal monies available to rehabilitate old buildings. Wichita has done that in spades with the old market development downtown in Wichita. I don't know how many millions of dollars was provided in grant funds, block grants, and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure you all have got a whole notebook of what's available. As the city council, any city council in the country's probably got that notebook. It's doable. People got to get their tinkers down and start working together. Otherwise, it's just going to continue to escalate, and your whole history's going to be gone. I'm sure it's what none of you want. This means you've got to start reaching out to people in the community, even people that might be cranky to your way of thinking. They're trying to do the right thing. It's a quaint little town. It's neat. You can do better. And I think those of you elected to represent this community needs to dig into the facts and find out what's going on. Because just from what little bit I've been able to dig up and look at for the last 30 days, it don't look right. You can't have a hearing with no transcripts about the demolition. We've got court statements, but there's no transcripts. How's anybody supposed to file an appeal with no transcripts? That's a necessary required document to file an appeal. There are no transcripts. None. I mean, the paperwork, when you just look at it, looks fine. But when you start digging into the relativity of what's going on behind them, it doesn't match up. And that's pretty much all I got to say at the moment. I'd be you'd like to give Rosalie about 3 or 4 minutes, she can explain to you a little bit about what federal funds could be available. She's never tried to make a single penny out of anything. She's been left as a caretaker of buildings that other people walked away from. She's a caretaker of your history. And in that respect, at least respect her for it. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say one little thing, that we have learned that there is federal money available, that if you would please stop the demolition, walk away. There is federal money, either in tax credit or grant, direct grant, that we could salvage what is left and reuse it in a new way and still have a facade without destroying our historic environment. There's a lot of people are really, really angry. They're really unhappy at what has happened. My feelings certainly do not count in this. I'll probably write a book one day about it. But it's hard for people in a small town who never travel, who never go anywhere, to understand what is possible, what is available when you have a good designer, you have a good architect. In Wichita, there is one historic building on Market Street. There was only one wall left, and they got this federal money to redo the building, and they incorporated new with old and gave a whole new use. And that's just all I'm saying. It's like an 11th hour plea to just please back off. It's costing the taxpayers so much money, this whole fiasco. If you just back off, let us alone, return our possessions, return our historic items. The real heartbreak was losing the candy case that we paid almost $1,000 for. And to have you just give it away, sell it, or whatever you did with it, just tore my heart out. And the old treadle sewing machine and some of the other items, and our trailer, which was our lifeblood. But we've had so much vandalism now. They've broken the hotel window, they've keyed the car, they've broken the van now. So once again, we're reduced to absolute nothing. And I'm really, really tired. I would appreciate your cooperation to start growing up and acting like a real town. And we would just like to have the few remnants that are left of the Buckeye building. That's all. I don't expect anything, but I'm just making